Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Gemini Sun and an Aquarius Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, having these two air signs, obviously, this could give very good communicative ability. The person can be very intellectual, very quick thinking. Aquarius rising, of course, going to add probably a little more ingenuity to the Gemini Sun, and the person may have more radical views and be more fixed in his or her viewpoints, and less likely to be adaptable just in general than the typical Gemini Sun. Now, the thing about this is, we look at this could be somebody that may have very strong, I guess you could say, that need to communicate in such as perhaps even radical ideas and express them very eloquently. This could be a very unpredictable combination. And when you look at the Sun and the Ascendant, okay, the Sun represents our basic wants, and the Ascendant can show the manner or method in which one attains those wants. Now, the Gemini Sun can be about being very inquisitive, wanting a restless desire for knowledge, variety, showing versatility, communication, our basic wants, being, I guess you could say, even good conversation and mental stimulation. Now, these basic wants may be attained through the Aquarius Ascendant. The Ascendant can act as a filter for our Sun, almost like a filtration device, if you will. So perhaps through their friends, friendships, being that universal friend, perhaps through even their own, maybe in some isolated cases, their innovative way of thinking, through innovation, perhaps even through study of computers, electronics, esoteric subjects, through looking at maybe things that are somewhat a little bit different or unique or just radical, in things that are unorthodox, perhaps. This could be a person that could be the way perhaps to satisfy the Gemini, the restlessness, and the variety and activity may be expressed perhaps in these matters, and even in humanitarian and selfless endeavors as well, because Aquarius is the sign of the water bearer. Aquarius rising can be very selfless and very humanitarian, about being benevolent and about being kind, and this could be a very strong amicable combination, and the person can show a strong amount of amicability, if you will, and there could be a strong need for friendships, and perhaps with their friends they could show that Gemini, the verbosity and the eloquence can come out that way. Now, a lot of this depends on the aspects that are made between the Gemini Sun and the Aquarius Ascendant, if there's any aspects. Now, in many cases there will be a trine aspect. For example, if somebody has a Gemini Sun at 8 degrees, an Aquarius Ascendant at 10 degrees, that would be auspicious and positive, and you would have an even stronger integration or blending of these energies, and they're compatible by sign anyway, but having that aspect does help matters as well. And but in some cases you'll have an adverse aspect take place between the Gemini Sun and Aquarius rising. A square can take place. For example, let's say somebody has a Gemini Sun at 1 degree and an Aquarius Ascendant at 28 degrees. Well, that would be considered, the aspect would be a square. It'd be an out of sign square, but still a square, and that could be adverse, and that could cause a little inner exasperation and tension in the person, and a person might at times feel a little bit misconstrued or misunderstood, in which can happen when you have that aspect, even though the energies are still compatible by sign. Now, the same thing could happen. Now, let's say somebody has a Gemini Sun, and Aquarius Ascendant, and it's in an inconjunct aspect. So, for example, somebody could have the Gemini Sun at 29 degrees, and they could have an Aquarius Ascendant at 1 degree. Well, this would form an out of sign inconjunct aspect, and similarly to the square aspect, you could have it's adverse, and you could experience some inner turmoil, some inner exasperation because of the having that aspect to some degree. Now, and there still might be feelings of perhaps being that misconstrued, misunderstood type thing, because which it could happen with the negative aspects, even though the signs are compatible by signs. Now, a lot depends too, as far as the house placement goes. If somebody has a Gemini Sun and Aquarius Ascendant, the Sun will often be in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th house in their natal chart. Now, let's say it's in the 3rd house. You could see this person could show that Gemini restlessness, in that loquaciousness, that could come out. Almost it's a double whammy, because the 3rd house corresponds with the sign Gemini. And these activities and in the Gemini energy, I should say, may come out through siblings if applicable, and perhaps just in their communication in general. It could be someone that really wants to have the variety in terms of people they communicate with, and that could be one example. Now, if the Gemini Sun is posited in the 4th house, well, this could indicate that there might be some restlessness and strong mental activity in the home. It could be somebody that does a lot of communicating with their people in their home and in their family life, and there might be some that need for variety in the home, whether it's board games or what have you, or video games. There might be some that need for variety to do many different things at their home, and it could even be things with home repair, just a variety of things in general. Now, if the Sun is posited in the 5th house, well, the Gemini need this restlessness might come out perhaps through or that need for I guess you could say that strong desire for their communication and being loquacious might come out perhaps through their children, if applicable, from people in their love romantic life is possible. There might be a lot of variety in terms of their hobbies and things that they do as far as fun and amusement goes. And sometimes perhaps even sports is a possibility as well. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having a Gemini Sun and Aquarius Ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having a Gemini Sun and a Pisces Ascendant in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.